gentlemen, we are live today. We have a very special guest from the positive energy vortex of the universe, otherwise known as Sedona, Arizona. All right. Always number one in her office, and usually at least a chairman gold winner for the company. Nisreen Hawley, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
From her
Thanks for
car
having
today.
me. I always love our conversations. Yeah, I'm in the car today because I had to run out real quick, but I am ready for our chat because we always have a good conversation. So I'm excited.
We always do. It's great. I love it. No, so here's my question: are you out because of real estate, or are you delivering baked goodies that you make so deliciously?
No, it
You don't
is
have to
real
know.
estate related. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I
good.
mean, the cupcakes are real estate related too. It's all real estate.
I love to see when you make those cupcakes how people like hoard two or three each when they're on the kitchen table. They take them and
Yeah.
hide them, like myself included, of course. All right. Well,
Oh,
we
yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say we always have these wonderful talks and always goes in different directions. But just because some people probably don't know who you are, because we got California, Arizona, and Nevada on here. So tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I am Nisreen Hawley. I live here in Sedona in the Verde Valley for the last 26 years, and I've been licensed here since 1999 and a Berkshire Hathaway agent since 2017. So this is going to be my 9th year with the company, and just very excited to be, part of this community and mentoring agents in our office and helping, with the office growth.
Yep. I just spoke to Julie yesterday, who one of your mentees, and congratulating her for winning her national award. And congratulations to you, too, for winning yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we've got so much happening right now going into spring. And I'm super excited about just Julie and Marina and Sonia and Kim's progress. It's amazing. So
yeah. No, and I know they appreciate you. Every time I call them, they have wonderful things to say. And you have some award winners now in your group, which is so awesome.
All of them made top 10 in the office, and all of them are award winners. So I could not be more proud. And then, yes, definitely kudos to them. And I just got off the phone with Marina earlier this morning, and she just finished Binzer negotiations on her first $3 million escrow. So,
wow.
Marina, yeah.
Marina, you said? I'm going to call her later. Marina, wow,
yeah.
good job.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It must be rewarding for you to see them. Well, first off, they have nothing but great things to say to you. They really enjoy and appreciate what you've done, but it must be rewarding at the same time to see them do so well.
Oh yeah, it's definitely rewarding. I mean, when you're first starting out, sometimes it feels discouraging, right? It takes a while to build up that pipeline and to get, have the conversations and put yourself out there. But, they're doing it and it's working. So.
I love it. I love it. It says a lot about you too, because you enjoy helping them get into gear, which is so incredible. And we really appreciate it here too at the company for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, give us your thermometer of lovely Arizona. I mean, I don't know if anybody has been to Arizona, but my little joke is when you hit the first roundabout, you really get a great idea. You can feel the positivity and the beauty of that place, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it is Happy Lunar New Year. And there is a lot of energy, I guess, extra energy in the positive energy vortex of the universe, as you say, here in Sedona, because we're going into spring and that is our busiest time. These are coming up our busiest months of the year. It's just a gorgeous time to be here. We have a nice, balanced, steady market. We're a small area and we're kind of in a bubble. So we're not impacted by a lot of things that metro markets are impacted by. It's definitely a vacation destination. There isn't a ton of inventory, so everything has been remaining pretty stable for buyers and sellers.
Yeah, it's definitely it's also a big Airbnb place. People buy investment properties as well up there, right? It seems like in the last few years that it has a decent amount of those properties, and some of them are really nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a vacation destination. A lot of people, what I'm seeing, I mean, there is some misconception to that these mega corporations are buying up all the houses, but really what I'm seeing personally is a lot of really good folks, nice couples, they want to retire here in 4 or 5 years, 6 years. They buy something now while they can afford it. They rent it out to offset the cost of owning it. And then eventually it's going to be their full time residence.
No, such a great idea too, and you can do very well. You chip away 4, 5, 6 years doing that, and then you've not that you're going to own it outright, but you can definitely chip away at a decent amount of the mortgage because it's a lucrative business right now. I hope it continues because it really is good. I think for the real estate business as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a great opportunity for people to build equity, and have a second home, vacation home, an income property, and maybe their future, full time retirement home.
Yep. What a great place too. I mean, it's just from the like you were saying with your new glasses, just driving around taking pictures with your meta glasses, you get a
Yeah.
good idea of what's happening in lovely Sedona, Arizona.
Yes, absolutely. It's gorgeous. Everywhere you drive, it's beautiful. I mean, it's just a wonderful place to live. And all the towns around Sedona too. We've got great views and lots of activities, and the rest of the Verde Valley is expanding as well. So
Yeah, all of Arizona. Arizona is a beautiful state, and it has a lot of good stuff to offer too. And but you know what? So we know Sedona is absolutely beautiful, and we know that you do really well up there. So I think it'd be interesting for them to hear what you did before and how you've kind of incorporated that into your business. I think that's really interesting
oh
for
yeah.
people to hear.
So before real estate, let me back up a little bit, but I was doing some baking. My kids now, by the way, are going to be 18, my son 18 next month, and my daughter just turned 15 last month. So, but when they were little, I did real estate, but it was very difficult to have an infant and a 3-year-old and be out showing houses. So I had started baking. I was always loved cooking, and I had a food blog, and people would say, "Oh, you should do this for a living. You should do this for a living," and I just didn't pay attention to that. But I started baking, and I put it out online, and some local restaurants started reaching out to me and saying, "Hey, could we get that?" For our place. And eventually I was baking and making chocolates and desserts and pastries for 7 different locations in the Verde Valley, different restaurant owners and restaurants. And people were coming in because they'd see I'd bake something, I'd put it on Facebook, and I'd say, go get it before it's gone. It's at, this restaurant. And people would come in with their cell phone, and they would say to whoever was at the front, the manager, the owner, I want this dessert I saw on Facebook. And so it didn't take too long before owners started calling me and saying, "Hey, no offense, but we're not making a bunch of money selling a piece of your cake. We need people coming in the way they come in for your dessert, but for our entrees. So could you do our social media?" And so
Wow.
I started doing social media, and before I said yes, I took some classes so I could learn, what I was doing. I didn't want to do a disservice to them. I was just throwing my stuff online, and people were going in, and I didn't have a system. So I started taking classes online on social media marketing and social media management. And then when I was comfortable, I said yes, and I ended up having a lot of my restaurant clients that were buying sweets from me were also hired me to do their social media. So I
That's
eventually combined that, the baking, the social media marketing, and the real estate in one, and with the brand when I joined Berkshire Hathaway. And that just was the magic combination, I guess, for me to have all the tools the brand offers, to be known for baking all over the Verde Valley, and to be pretty decent at social media really helped my real estate business.
Right, yeah, and now phenomenal at real estate. So imagine that you're doing desserts and putting them on social media, and people are showing up to restaurants and saying, "Hey, I want this dessert. What would you like to eat first?" Ah, that's hilarious. What about if we have dinner first and then we give you the dessert and then you just incorporate that in? Now you use the baking as it's almost like a reversal. Now you use the baking with your clients. Like I love when you send out that here's the, I'm delivering these to my people that just closed or just listed or whatever, and
Yeah.
they look super, super. Do you have a special camera for that? Because they really look good.
It's just my regular camera. I does have a food mode though that is basically just designed to, and zoom in and enhance the look of a plate of food. So I just use food mode on my regular, Samsung. I have an Android, so
Wow, that is cool. So it's just really one of the settings on your camera on your phone. That's amazing. Looks great,
yeah.
and I'm sure your clients love it. Just like I love when I come to speak there and you ask me what I want. I always want those espresso. What are they? Espresso citrus. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm the citrus ones I think are your favorite because I think you mentioned those the most. And then the s'mores, we did s'mores once. I
Oh
remember.
yeah,
Yeah, and espresso. Always espresso is always an option. Yeah.
espressos are great. All right. Well, awesome. Well, and you look at year after year, like you said, this is your ninth year with us, and I would say most of them you've been number one in that office. Just give them an idea of how you do your business, especially in the market like you're in, because it's kind of a second home specialty market. But in what I want them to hear, it's the same thing no matter what market you're in. You're doing things that work in every market. So just give them an idea of what you do to be that successful year in and year out.
Yeah, so, it's really a relationship business, and I just have to stay in touch with people and stay top of mind. So for me personally, what work is I do a lot of top of mind marketing. And what I tell the agents that I mentor is, there are 100 ways that you can put yourself out there, right? And some people excel at cold calling, and some people excel at door knocking and excel at hosting open houses or whatever it is. But you have to pick like your top few things. And I personally love doing event style things where I go to a cafe where I know the owner or, they're a friend of mine, and I buy everyone's coffee. And then it just starts the conversation. I sit in the corner with my laptop. I've got, one of my real estate t-shirts on, and they come thank me for the coffee. They ask me about the market. They tell me, well, my sister's going to move here soon. They, we exchange information. They get, whatever it is, or they're thinking of selling their house, or they want to know what their house is worth. I can get them set up on, market reports, things like that. And we just stay in continuous communication, but they're very soft touches. And that works for me in my style. The other thing I love doing are pop buys. So that's a fun thing. I almost always have something with me that I can drop off. I did, I did flowers, like seeds, for wildflowers, and said, "Oh, the market's wild right now. If you're looking for advice, reach out to me." I drop these things off. My latest pop by I have is a little jar of honey with some chai tea and one of those little wooden stirrers, right? And it just says it has a bee on it, and it says, "It's been a while, since we talked. Give me a call. I'd love to know how you're doing." And I drop those things off everywhere, and I always get calls or texts back from somebody that I've dropped something off for. They always call or text back to say thank you, and it starts the conversation. So, and then again, back to the social media, I connect with people in multiple platforms in multiple ways. So I make sure I am consistent on Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, Nextdoor, YouTube. I'm on Snapchat. I mean, you could find me anywhere, and all these different platforms have or different reach. They reach different people. So
Different demographics. Yeah.
my top three: the events, the pop buys, and being social on social media. But you know, there's so many ways to put yourself out there. It's just and make
Yeah.
relationships. That's number one.
That's great. Yeah, no, and it's so true because I noticed that Sedona itself like has events too. Do you ever get involved in any of those where they have, like what's that place that's surrounded by the stone wall and they have like a, I don't want to say a flea market, but they have people set up and do different shows. Do you ever get involved in any of those that are out there in Sedona?
So there are a lot of art shows. There are,
Art shows.
the farmers markets. There are a lot of things that happen in Sedona and different events. And so another thing and it relates back to social media is for years I've had these groups. So I on Instagram, so I'm Sedonagram. I'm Sedona Eats. I am the Verde Eats. I have a group called Welcome to Northern Arizona. So I promote a lot of these events that are happening, and I try to show up to them as much as I possibly can. The Clarkdale car show coming up, that's always fun with the classic cars. You get pictures, but I try to promote these community events as much as possible in my different groups. So that's very helpful.
Cool. I love it. Yeah, because there's such an opportunity there for all those different events. I mean, the last time I was there for a long weekend, there was in a like you said, it was a farmers market with all kinds of stuff and people playing
Yeah.
music, and it was really really awesome. And I was like that would be a great place to do business. So you're very visible in the community, doing things like this and buying people coffee at restaurants. You're also extremely visible on social media, and I love the way you mix it up. You do different things on, like, you don't do the same thing on Snapchat that you would on Facebook, and you have your interesting unique videos too, which I think are, some of them are fun and cool. And you must, so I my question is, what percentage of your business would you say comes from the different social media sources?
In one way or another, I'd say probably a good majority of it, just because even if it's somebody that already knows me, they might tag me in a group if somebody asks for a realtor, and it keeps it keeps me top of mind with people. So past clients, friends, relatives, business owners, they just see me online. I think even if it's not directly coming from there, indirectly, it's the reason I'm in their head. So for example, I got a call yesterday from a woman who said she just called me so excited to talk to me, and she was coming up here. She wants to look at houses. And so before we ended the call, I said, can I just ask you where you got my number so I can thank whoever recommended me to you, and let them know I appreciate them. And she says, oh yeah, I was in this antique store, and this woman and I don't know who that woman is, but she said, she goes, I can't remember her name, but you sold her niece a house, and her niece absolutely loves you. So it just goes in that line. So the woman probably follows me, in some way on social media because her niece bought a house from me, and she just sent this woman, my Facebook page, and she, shot me a message, and we had a phone call, and we're going to
Right.
go look at houses. So.
That's awesome. And I think that part of the reason why you do such a tremendous business is that you do an incredible job and you make it memorable, right, for each and every of your clients. I think that's one of your big, tell them a little about that, because I think that's such an important part of your business.
Yeah, so I try to tailor things to my clients, right? So the communication style, some people don't want to hear from you, as far as like sellers until you have a contract coming in, right? And some people want to hear from you every day. Are you getting calls on my listing? Are people commenting on it, or what's happening? So, and in general, I like to touch base with people once a week, but some people don't want that, and some people want more than that. And so I have to be flexible to their communication style. One of the things I've been doing is taking these master classes online in being a better communicator, because I'm as much as it is, it's a sales job, but I'm not convincing anybody to buy a house that didn't want to buy a house, and I'm not convincing anybody to sell a house that didn't want to sell a house. The only convincing we're doing is, are you going to work with me, or are you going to work with somebody else? And so you have to be a good communicator, communicate on their level in the way that makes them comfortable, and,
Mm.
kind of just be a very good listener, and hear what they're saying. Do they need a lot of hand holding? You know, do they need do they not need a ton of explaining because they've done this so many times and they just, just the facts. Let's go. And then
Just
I
the
try to
fact,
just
man.
person. Yeah. Hmm.
It sounds like okay. So it sounds like you run a business of attraction versus a business of promotion. Like you're attracting people by the way you are, by the what you do. You're like a magnet. It just because of but you're being proactive in your own unique way within your personality, and I would say even within your location, Sedona. That positive mental attitude and all that good stuff. Karmic delivery.
Okay, almost everything I do now is a referral in some way or another. It's a referral from somebody who knows me, somebody who's done business with me, or another agent, in our network or even out of our network. So a good number of my followers on social media are other realtors. And I think that's something that gets overlooked a lot in our industry. And, sometimes agents look at each other as competition or, there there is some kind of issue with like following them or commenting on their things, or they don't want to do that because it's going to promote somebody else's business. But it's all good. Like the rising tide raises all ships. And so I feel like these other agents see my listings, they see how hard I work for my sellers, and they're happy to refer people to me if this is not their area.
Right. Yeah, and also it's you stand out by the way you do your business. Does it does it shock you sometimes stories and things you hear about your competition and why they end up using you? Some of the things that actually goes on in this business isn't it a little crazy at times?
It is a little crazy, and I'm very glad that you mentioned standing out, because that was one thing I hope that we touched on today, and is the use of AI in our marketing these days. And I do feel it's important and it's helpful, but it's also important and helpful to stand out. And one of the things that kind of gets me is how I don't want to fall in this trap. And I've caught myself doing it, right? You'll see somebody make a cute thing with AI, and then all of a sudden your news feed is full of it, and every person is doing it. And then it becomes not a standout anymore, so you kind of have to figure out a way to use AI in your own voice, in your own way, to make sure you still remain unique and not all of your listings are nestled somewhere.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, and I agree with you too. You see somebody do a video and it gets a lot of attention, and then someone does the same exact thing but in their own voice, and I'm like, that's just weird to me. Like they're gonna think what they're the first ones that ever did this. I mean, everybody knows that you're doing the same thing that somebody else did. It's always been weird to me, but I agree with you. You definitely stand out. You have a unique way of doing it because of your mix, right? Not just your client stories, not just your baking, not just your funny videos where you're mouthing somebody else's. Those
Yeah.
crack me up the most.
Okay.
Right? And then you have some in there about your kids and how I remember the first couple about your kids, and I remember how they look now, and now they're both huge, tall, big, teenagers, which it's great to see, and it's good to involve people when I mean you got to show them that you're a human too, right?
Yeah, and people want to do business with people like them, people they trust, people they, can relate to. And so, I hopefully there's a lot of family people out here, I think, and that with teenage kids, they relate to, some of the things I share. and
Yeah.
and it's fun, they just want to be understood.
Right. I love it. I love it. Okay, so my favorite question for top producers like yourself, and please, I'm going to pick one for you. I'm going to say your top three, but I'm going to say right now, probably one of your top three is AI, and give them an example too, so they can say, "Oh, okay, let me." Because everybody knows, well, I can go to ChatGPT and I can ask it questions about my health, my financial future. I can, right? I can give it. It gives me a new idea. I love it because of my training and I've written a couple books and it has all of that. Like it quotes me. It freaks me out sometimes when I ask it to do something and it quotes me. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, that's a little creepy, but I like it. So
Yeah.
give me your
So
top three and make AI one of them, please.
Okay, absolutely. So we'll start with AI. I mean, so there's no particular order, but I think one of the highest and best uses in our industry for AI is to make ourselves more visible. Of course, always what we're trying to do, and there are ways that AI can help with that. Jimmy Burgess has a great thing in our resource center that with some prompts that you can use and just ask AI about yourself and see what AI says. I mean, I've gone on there. I spend more time in AI and different platforms, right? Not just Chat GPT, but Gemini, you know, Grok, other things, Claude, and find out what they're saying about you, because I was really surprised the first time I asked Chat GPT to give me the top 10 agents in Sedona. And it gave me 10 agents that don't even work this market. And so you have to train AI. AI is learning. And you have to say, wait a minute, how are you finding this data? And AI, are you looking at Google reviews? Are you looking at transaction history? Where are you pulling this from? And if they're pulling from a website like Fast Expert, you better be on Fast Expert. If they're pulling it will tell you how it's searching and how it's finding the data. And it's really important to make sure that AI has your information correct. AI thought I was from, France or something. It wrote a bio about me and it said, bringing a European flair. And I was born here in Arizona in Scottsdale. I don't know where that
Funny.
came up from. Maybe because I made macaroons once, AI thought I was French. I don't know. But you have to make sure that your information is right across all the platforms. And the best way I think I found to use AI is it will take your bio that you make for your Google business page, and that might be a longer bio, and then it can adjust it for Instagram, which doesn't give you much space, and it will adjust it for Facebook, but it will make it faster for you to just reword things. It will keep the keywords that people search for, in the top of your bio, so it's helpful. And all these things that Jimmy Burgess says in the resource center, I would definitely do those things before I made any more caricatures of myself. That's how I
Right.
would use AI.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I
So
love
that,
Jimmy's stuff too. He's always on the cutting edge, which is great.
yeah, yeah, he had great information in there. So that was just super helpful. And that's, I'm still learning it because it's so new, but it is a time saver, you know, for sure.
All right,
And don't
cool. All right,
lose
so that's your
yourself.
first one. Give us a couple more. Give us a couple more tidbits if I want to really be a success in this business.
Yeah. So if you really want to be a success in this business, I've been thinking about this morning, knowing that we were going to talk. And, if you're going out and you're getting every appointment, I'm not sure if it was you that said this or not, but then you're not going on enough appointments, right? You're going to get the note. You're going to get you're going to lose some of your, listing appointments or some of your buyer appointments, but don't take the losses, in a negative way. The losses are lessons. And sometimes there are things that you could learn from them that you could change to be a better agent. And don't let that, get you down. If you're going out and you're getting every single one a yes, then you're not going out enough. And when
Yeah,
you get
I
those
tell them.
no's, every no helps you be a better agent, basically.
Yeah, I definitely say that, and I also say that 85 to me, 80-85 is the perfect ratio. If you're going to, if you, because that means that you're going on appointments that you set yourself because of your proactive activities that they don't necessarily know you. Like for you, like you said, a lot of your business comes from repeat and referral. Those are easier. You have a testimonial, and when it comes from somebody else, it's always better. But there's some that you're going on for the first time that you need to have a presentation. Most of the agents, I'm glad you said that, because most of the agents that are used to getting most of them but lose a few are because they go on to all of them the same exact way. They don't do a present. Sometimes you actually have to do a whole presentation.
Yeah, it's
So that's a
it's kind of exciting when I have to do a presentation now and actually go up, and interview with knowing that they're going to interview other agents and from other brokerages. So that is exciting now because right, most of the business now is that like, oh, my accountant says I have to call you, I have to use you, or my hairdresser says, or my cousin said that you help them, so come over and look at my house, I want to get it ready for sale. And it's just a matter of making a plan, walking them through the steps, seeing if this is the right time. I've actually gone on a couple recently where it's not the right time for them. Maybe it's a little less than 2 years. They didn't think about if they were going to get hit with capital gains. So, they talk to their CPA, we put it, bump it back a few months, but you're just there to kind of give them guidance, like a GPS, basically. Tell them which roads they can take to get to their goal, and help them get there without any, detours.
Right. I love it. I love it. Cool. Cool. And anything else you can think of, or is that
So yeah, I mean, the last thing is to just, I know I've said this before, but I think it's really important, is get in, where you can fit in. When you're getting just first into the business, or if you've been in the business in a while and, you've gone about 6 months and you're not seeing some kind of improvement, maybe you do need to make a change. Maybe you do need a mentor. Maybe you do need, a team, or like a more supportive, branch office or brand that will give you, the trainings that you need, because anybody can be successful anywhere. But one of the things I was listening to on a podcast was this communications expert, and he said, I can write you the best sales script known to man, and I can hand it to you. But if you don't have that confidence in yourself, right, it's not going to work. I can
right?
write you a pilot guide on how to fly a plane, but if you've never, it's not going to help you if you don't have the right tools, if you haven't had the right training. So,
Yeah. Training experience, you got to develop feel, and that requires going out there and making mistakes. And the great thing about real estate is you get to earn while you learn, right?
yep, absolutely. And just, every opportunity is a lesson in there. And so even, the ones you win, the ones you don't win, it's all learning, and you can't stop learning. I mean, I listen to things while I'm driving, listen to things at night while I'm cleaning up the house and doing laundry, and just always trying to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I can tell just by the way you've been quoting podcasts and books and so forth. I like to say you need to be a student all the time of the business, especially the mindset, psychology part of it too. And now the newest one for me before AI was social media, but now there's social media and there's AI, as well as the foundational communication and so forth. And look at everything that you're saying, Nisreen, is absolutely 100% true. And the one thing that you do every time is an incredible job for your clients. So that's why they tell everybody, and you make it very easy for them to see you everywhere with your social media, your Popeyes, and so forth, which is just a huge, blanket, okay, of proactive activities in your market. That's why it works so well. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we're right at time. Actually, we've gone a little over, but this was really good, great stuff, information, and I really appreciate you taking your time. You can now start your car up, okay, and can
Okay.
and continue where you were going. I really appreciate you, Nisreen. Thank you very much for taking your time out today, and thank you everybody for being here.
Thank you. All right. Hope to
My
see you
pleasure.
soon. Take care.
You got it.
Bye.
See you at the award. 2 weeks.
Okay. Oh, I'll be there. See ya.
Good. I'll see you then.
Bye.
Thank you.